Shan's new old house. First thing, naturally, we got food from the kitchen. We also made dirt tracks on the floor because socks are notoriously effective when it comes to redistributing filth from sidewalks, lawns, and Bella Vista Arms, and Robbie's untidy old Ford Explorer. I boiled water, and we took cups of noodles and Doritos into my room. Robbie sat on my bed and ate, waiting patiently while I recorded the last little bit of the day's history in my notebook. Here, I tossed my cell phone over to the bed. Call Shan. Have you ever smelled a Dorito? I had to think about it. I wrote. Probably not. Just checking, he said, because they smell like my nephew's feet. Why did you smell a 6-year-old kid's feet? Good question. As usual, Shan got mad because I had Robbie call her using my phone, which when she answered she thought was me. This, quite naturally, made me horny. But Robbie explained to her I was writing, and he told her that something terrible had happened to us. We asked if it would be okay. He asked if it would be okay that we came over to her new old house as soon as we finished eating. Robbie was such a suave communicator when it came to relaying messages to Shan. In fact, I believed it was the biggest component of why she was so much in love with me. Sometimes I wished I could cut off Robbie's head and attach it to my body, but there were more than a couple things wrong with that idea. First, uncomfortably enough, it kind of made me horny to think about a hybridized Robbie Austin having sex with Shan, and second, decapitation was a sensitive topic in Ealing. Well, anywhere really, but in Ealing during the late 1960s there was this weird string of serial murders that went unsolved, and they all involved headlessness. History is full of decapitations, and Iowa is no exception. So after we finished eating, I outfitted Robbie with some clean socks, a Titus Andronicus t-shirt. I changed into an Animal Collective t-shirt, and all my tees are bands, and gave him my nicest pair of Adidas. And both of us tried to pretend we didn't notice my dad's truck pulling up the drive just as we took off for Shan's. Perfect timing, I said. Robbie answered by pushing the dashboard cigarette lighter. Besides all the head-cutting off shit that went on 50 years ago, Ealing was also known for Dr. Grady McKeon, founder of McKeon Industries, which, up until about 6 months ago, employed over half the town's labor force. Grady McKeon was some kind of scientist, and he made a fortune from defense programs during the Cold War. When the fight against communism went south on McKeon, the factory retooled and started manufacturing sonic pulse shower heads and toothbrushes, which ultimately became far more profitable when made in Malaysia or somewhere like that. So the factory shut down, and that's why most of Ealing's strip mall was deserted, and why every time I visited Robbie at Bella Vista Arms, there were more and more pay or quit notices hanging on doors. And that's a half a century of an Iowa town's history in 4 sentences. McGrady Keene was gone, but his much younger brother still lived and ran businesses in Ealing. Johnny McKeon owned Tipsy Cricket Liquors and From Attic to Cellar thrift store, both of which were big crowd pleasers at the strip mall. Johnny, who was responsible for thinking up the names of those 2 establishments entirely on his own, was also Shan's stepfather. And Shannon Collins, whom Robbie and I called Shan, her mother the relatively brand new Mrs. McKeon, and Johnny had just taken up ownership of the McKeon house, a decrepit old wooded monstrosity that was on the registry of historic homes in Ealing. Well, actually, it was the only historic home in Ealing. It took Robbie and me 2 cigarettes to get to Shan's new old house. It had already been a rough day. We were going to need another pack. And that's how easy it is.